Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. After's shocking ending of Season 1, where Aemond Targaryen and his dragon Vhagar caused the death of Lucerys Velaryon, House of the Dragon Season 2 begins with Westeros standing on the edge of a devastating civil war. The anger, grief, and betrayal that have been building for years finally explode into open conflict between Rhaenyra Targaryen and Aegon II. The war is no longer about politics or rumors. This is a war of dragons, and every choice made by both sides will decide the fate of the realm. Back to winter. The season opens with Lucerys Velaryon traveling beyond the wall to seek the support of House Stark. He meets Cregan Stark, the young lord of Winterfell, who understands the importance of honor and promises support for Rhaenyra's cause. The Starks agree to provide thousands of soldiers, giving the Blacks a powerful alliance from the north. Meanwhile, Rhaenys Targaryen works with Corlys Velaryon to strengthen the naval blockade around the Gullet, cutting off King's Landing's access to supplies. With the city already struggling, this blockade becomes one of Rhaenyra's strongest weapons. However, Daemon Targaryen does not want a slow war. He wants revenge. He believes the only answer is to strike directly at Aemond and Vhagar, the dragon responsible for Luke's death. But Rhaenys refuses because she understands the danger. Fighting Vhagar is not simply a battle. It is a gamble that could destroy everything they are fighting to protect. When Rhaenyra finally receives confirmation that Luke is dead, her grief changes everything. The loss of her son pushes her closer to war, and she demands justice against Aemond. But while the Blacks prepare their response, the Greens are facing their own problems inside the Red Keep. Blood and cheese changes everything. Aegon II wants to prove that he can be a different kind of king. Unlike the cruel rulers of the past, he wants to appear like someone who cares about ordinary people. But Otto Hightower, his grandfather and hand of the king, understands that ruling during a war requires difficult decisions. He warns Aegon that trying to please everyone will only weaken the crown. Aegon introduces his young son and heir, Prince Jaehaerys, to the small council because he wants him to learn how to rule. But this innocent moment becomes heartbreaking because Jaehaerys becomes the target of Daemon's revenge. Daemon secretly hires two killers known as Blood and Cheese. Their mission is to enter the Red Keep and assassinate Aemond. But when they search the castle, they cannot find him. Instead, they enter the chambers of Queen Helaena and discover her children. What follows becomes one of the darkest moments of the entire story. Blood and Cheese force Helaena to choose which of her children will die, and they murder young Jaehaerys instead. Helaena escapes with her surviving daughter and runs to Alicent's room, only to discover Alicent with Criston Cole. The murder of Jaehaerys changes the entire war. Until this point, both sides were preparing for battle, but now the conflict becomes personal. The death of a child creates a level of hatred that cannot easily be undone. The Greens turn grief into power. Aegon is devastated and wants immediate revenge against Rhaenyra. Otto, however, sees another opportunity. He understands that a dead prince can become a powerful symbol. Instead of rushing into battle, he uses the funeral procession to turn public opinion against the Blacks. As the people of King's Landing mourn Jaehaerys, the crowd begins blaming Rhaenyra. The Greens spread the message that she is cruel and willing to kill innocent children for power. But their response creates new problems. When Blood is captured, he reveals that Daemon hired him. Aegon becomes furious and orders every ratcatcher in King's Landing to be executed, including Cheese. Otto is horrified by the decision because he knows the common people will not see this as justice. They will see it as cruelty. This could turn the people against the king. The conflict between Aegon and Otto reaches its breaking point, and Aegon removes his own grandfather as Hand of the King. In his place, he appoints Criston Cole, giving a warrior even more influence over the direction of the war. The war reaches Dragonstone. Criston Cole decides to strike at Rhaenyra directly. He sends Sir Eric Cargill to infiltrate Dragonstone and assassinate the queen. The plan is dangerous because Eric has an identical twin brother, Eric, who serves Rhaenyra. Eric enters Dragonstone disguised as his brother, but the plan fails because Mysaria discovers him and warns the guards. When the truth is revealed, the two brothers are forced to fight each other. It is one of the saddest moments of the season because neither man truly wants this battle. They are brothers who have been divided by a war they did not start. Eventually, Eric kills Eric. But after taking his brother's life, Eric cannot continue living with what he has done, and he ends his own life. The message is clear. The Dance of Dragons is not only destroying armies, it is destroying families. Daemon's journey at Harrenhal. While Rhaenyra struggles to maintain control, Daemon leaves Dragonstone and travels to Harrenhal to gain the support of the Riverlords. The ancient castle has a dark reputation, and soon it begins affecting him. At Harrenhal, Daemon meets Alice Rivers, a mysterious woman who seems to know more about him than she should. She tells him the castle is haunted, but the real haunting is happening inside Daemon's mind. He begins experiencing strange visions. He sees Rhaenyra, his past mistakes, and memories of his family. These dreams force him to confront the person he has become. Daemon has always wanted power, respect, and recognition, but at Harrenhal, he starts questioning whether he actually wants the crown or whether he has been chasing something else his entire life. Rhaenyra and Alicent's last attempt at peace. Rhaenys believes that Alicent might still be someone Rhaenyra can reason with. So, Rhaenyra secretly enters King's Landing and meets Alicent. Their conversation reveals the tragedy behind the entire war. Alicent explains that she believes Viserys' final words named her son Aegon as the true king. But Rhaenyra realizes there was a misunderstanding. Viserys was talking about the prophecy of Aegon the Conqueror and the threat that would come from the north. The entire war was built on a mistake. But even knowing this changes nothing. Too many people have died, and neither side can simply walk away. The Battle of Rook's Rest. The war finally explodes at Rook's Rest. Criston Cole leads his forces, and Rhaenys responds by riding her dragon Meleys into battle. She destroys enemy soldiers and appears to have the advantage, but it is all a trap. Aemond and Vhagar are waiting. Aegon, desperate to prove himself, arrives on Sunfire despite not being prepared. When Meleys attacks Sunfire, Aemond sees the perfect opportunity. He commands Vhagar to attack. The massive dragon burns both Sunfire and Aegon, leaving the king severely injured. Rhaenys and Meleys fight back against Vhagar, but eventually Vhagar overpowers them. Rhaenys dies alongside her dragon, becoming one of the biggest losses of the war. The battle changes everything. The Greens lose Aegon as an active ruler, while the Blacks lose one of their greatest warriors. The search for more dragons. With Aegon injured and Aemond becoming the true power behind the throne, the war continues. Rhaenyra realizes that she cannot defeat Vhagar with her current forces. She needs more dragons. The problem is that there are not enough Targaryens left to ride them. So the Blacks begin searching for dragon seeds. People with Valyrian blood who may be able to claim dragons. This search leads to Hugh Hammer claiming Vermithor, one of the largest dragons alive, and Ulf claiming Silverwing. Their success changes the balance of power. For the first time, Rhaenyra has enough dragons to challenge Aemond. When Aemond approaches Dragonstone with Vhagar and sees Rhaenyra surrounded by multiple dragons, even he chooses not to attack. But this victory creates another danger. These new riders are not nobles. They're ordinary people who now possess the power of dragons. Jace worries that giving them dragons could threaten the future of House Targaryen itself. Daemon finally chooses Rhaenyra. At Harrenhal, Daemon's visions reach their peak. Alice leads him to a weirwood tree where he sees visions of the future, including the White Walkers and Daenerys Targaryen. He realizes that the Targaryen story is bigger than one throne. The fight is not just about who sits on the Iron Throne. There is a larger destiny connected to the family. Daemon finally accepts that Rhaenyra is the rightful queen and promises his loyalty. The Dance of Dragons begins. As the season ends, the war enters its most dangerous phase. Aemond becomes more ruthless, using Vhagar to destroy entire areas of Westeros. Alicent realizes she has lost control of the situation and secretly travels to Dragonstone, offering Rhaenyra a chance to take King's Landing peacefully. But Rhaenyra knows there is no easy solution anymore. She tells Alicent that Aegon must die if she wants the throne to remain secure. The final pieces move into place. Armies across the North, Riverlands, Westerlands, and Reach begin marching. Fleets prepare for battle. Dragons gather. The Dance of Dragons has officially begun. Season 2 ends with the realm divided, families destroyed, and two queens standing on opposite sides of a war that may burn all of Westeros before it is over.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.